Well, it was bound to happen at some point. Mets lose 7-2 to the Chicago Cubs. Just awful baseball tonight all around. Couldn't get a timely hit, couldn't get quality fielding, couldn't get quality pitching. None of it existed, and it all collided for one ugly baseball game. And it was just sad. The Mets had opportunities to get some offense going. They didn't. And they also had plenty of opportunities to execute better pitches and then certainly play better defense to maybe keep the game in reach a little bit more. But they couldn't even do that. So the Mets, just an awful effort. We're going to talk about it. Before we do, leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans. We cover them heavily here on Met Central. You don't want to miss out on what we do here. We are putting in the work each and every day that we can. But there's a lot to talk about with this game. So let's jump into it. Brandon Nimmo starts with a leadoff double, so we were feeling great. And it was a ground roll double too. Escobar, they're talking about how great of stats he has against Drew Smyly, and he has a weak ground out. Lindor with a fly out. Alonso then with a walk, but Vientos would go down striking out. So the Mets with some runners on can't make some noise. Bottom of the first, Nico Horner with a ground out. Then Swanson with a ground out. Great defense by Eduardo Escobar, which was something that we didn't get to say a lot of. Great defense in tonight's action. Good defense, though, there by Eduardo Escobar on that. He ended up being a little shaken up. He ended up being taken out of the game later on. I don't know if there's a correlation with that or the fact that they just wanted to give McNeil an at-bat. But regardless, yeah, he ends up making a nice play there. Ian Happ strikes out. Clean 1, 2, 3 first inning. Okay, we're feeling good. And then the Mets go down in order in the second inning, that being Marte, Beatty, and Pham with a couple groundouts and a strikeout there. And then, first pitch off of Tyler McGill in the second inning is put in the stands from Seiya Suzuki as he crushes one in the center field. I didn't even get to watch that one because I was first coming back in my room and I see Seiya Suzuki trotting the bases. So, yeah, that was fun. But yeah, that made it a 1-0 game, and it got ugly in this inning as Christopher Morel ends up walking. Mike Tauchman grounds out, and then Gary Sanchez, you see why he's not in the league anymore usually. That was a pass ball, and that moved the runner over the third. Patrick Wisdom with a strikeout, but Yan Gomes would get a single. Yan Gomes would get an RBI single to make it 2-0. And then Matt Mervis would end up hitting a home run to center to make it a 4-0 ball game. Because Tyler McGill, he just did not look good. His stuff wasn't awful. His fastball was a little bit flat, but I mean, he's got it. It was just a matter of locating pitches for him. He just did not execute on the pitches at all. And it was definitely a short outing for him as we go to the top of the third. Mets go down in order yet again. Sanchez, Nimmo, and Escobar. Bottom of the third, better inning for Tyler McGill as he gets a strikeout on Swanson. Happ grounds out, walks Seiya Suzuki. You could tell he was being cautious, especially in that at bat. And then Morel ends up flying out. But the Mets would end up tacking on a bit here in the top of the fourth. Lindor with a flyout, but Pete Alonso would end up hitting a home run to center field to make it a 4-1 game. Pete Alonso with his 18th of the season, 4-1 game, like I said. So a little bit of hope. And you know what? The Mets were coming back a lot in games. So it was like, okay, maybe we're going to get something going here. And maybe a little bit of hope. Vientos strikes out. Marte grounds out. We go to the bottom of the fourth, and oh boy. So this didn't have to be this way. This is where I say that the game did not have to get out of reach, but it did. And Tyler McGill could have went deeper in this ball game if it wasn't for one simple issue. Mike Tauchman leads off the inning. Flies one to left field. Routine fly ball. And Tommy Pham drops it. Mike Tauchman gets the second, and you just knew something was going to happen. But then McGill gets back-to-back strikeouts on Wisdom and Gomes, and you're like, okay, maybe we're going to be fine here. And nope. Matt Mervis ends up getting an RBI single. He ends up getting the second on that, and they challenged it, but because he was initially ruled out, but he was ruled safe after the video review. 5-1 ball game. Nico Horner then with a single. And that put runners on the corners. Dansby Swanson would drive that runner from third in as he gets himself a single to make it 6-1. Tyler McGill, you're out of here. Dominic Leone comes in. He walks Ian Happ and then forces Seiya Suzuki to ground out. So, yeah, one simple error really blew the remainder of the ball game over, and that's when you knew it was over, and there was probably no chance of the Mets coming back. As the fifth inning, just another joke. Beatty grounds out, Pham strikes out, Sanchez grounds out. Bottom of the fifth, it looked like it was going to be ugly, but thankfully it wasn't. Morel strikes out, Tauchman with a double. He ends up getting to advance on a wild pitch because, of course, and he ends up striking out Wisdom and Gomes, though, to end the inning, so it didn't end up being too bad. And then this is where I'm talking about the Mets had an opportunity to do things with the bats and blow the game open, but they didn't. Brandon Nimmo gets a single. Eduardo Escobar with a single. Francisco Lindor walks. Bases juiced. No outs. What do the Mets do? Well, Estrada comes in to pitch for Smiley. Pete Alonso, okay. He ends up hitting a ground out, but he brings the run in. Okay, we take that. Vogelback comes to pitch hit for Vientos, flies out, Marte grounds out, and the Mets waste bases loaded with no outs. Only getting one run. Inexcusable. You need a timely hit there, and they just simply didn't get it. Simply didn't get it. Steven Nagosic came into the game, shaved the mustache too. He ends up walking the leadoff batter, and then he gets the rest of the Cubs down in order, that being Horner, Swanson, and Happ. A couple strikeouts in there. Merriweather comes in to pitch for the Cubs. He strikes out Brett Beatty. Tommy Pham then with a single. Thank you for doing something, even though it didn't matter. Gary Sanchez strikes out Nimmo with a single. And then McNeil came in to pitch hit. Mark Leiter Jr. came into the game, and he strikes out Jeff McNeil. McNeil would stay in at second base. And then Nagosic had the usual Nagosic inning as he strikes out Suzuki, but then allows a home run to center field to Christopher Morel. Have yourself a field day. That makes it a 7-2 ball game. Mike Tauchman with that walk, another wild pitch from the Mets, and thankfully he gets the last two outs though. But the top of the eighth, the Mets go down in order. Yet again, bottom of the eighth got ugly again as back-to-back outs easily, and then Swanson gets on from an error as Brett Beatty just chucks it to Africa. And then Ian Happ with a walk. That brought Jeff Brigham into the game. He gets Seiya Suzuki out. Top of the ninth, Michael Fulmer comes in to end the game, the former Met, of course, and he has a 1-2-3 inning, getting Marte, Beatty, and Pham to end it. That is your ball game. Your winning pitcher is Drew Smiley. Your losing pitcher is Tyler McGill, and the Mets were just inexcusably bad today. They just were, and I get that's going to happen, but I'm sorry. You had opportunities. And just poor execution and some poor defense ended up being a result in them getting blown out in this game. If your name wasn't Brandon Nimmo, you pretty much didn't do anything for the lineup. Nimmo went 3 for 4, struck out once, but he still went 3 for 4. He was absolutely phenomenal in that leadoff spot. And yeah, he was easily the best offensive player for the Mets today. It wasn't even close. Eduardo Escobar 1 for 3. So much for him being a Drew Smiley killer because, yeah, 1 for 3 is not enough for him hitting second. It's not. There's no justifying it. And then McNeil went 0 for 1 in his one at bat. Lindor 0 for 3 with a walk. Not good enough. Alonso, though, he ends up going 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a walk. So not bad, but not great. Vientos and Vogelback combined for an 0 for 4 day. Not good. Marte 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Not good. Beatty 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Not good. Pham 1 for 4 with an error, a horrendous, inexcusable error nonetheless, and 2 strikeouts. Tommy Pham should not be playing for this team. He shouldn't. And with an off day, the fact that he was even in the lineup is inexcusable. You play Mark Canha, you play Jeff McNeil in the outfield. I don't care. It was inexcusable to let Tommy Pham in the lineup. Was Escobar hitting second? Inexcusable as well. Gary Sanchez playing with an off day also? Inexcusable. Why was Francisco Alvarez not in the lineup? Don't understand it. Literally don't understand at all why they would put Gary Sanchez in over Francisco Alvarez. Poor managing decisions there. Poor managing decisions. And the Mets went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, leaving 6 on total. horrendous. And Sanchez was an adventure behind the plate. He was an adventure. You had that pass ball. He was not good. He was not good. And the pitching was just not good either. Wasn't. Tyler McGill, 3 2/3 of an inning, 4 earned runs, 6 hits allowed, 2 walks allowed. He got 5 strikeouts, but 2 home runs. It's inexcusable. Inexcusable for your fastball to be that horrendous as well. For your location to be that horrendous. It's not okay. It's not. It's just inexcusable. Simply is. And yeah, I'm looking at his Savant page right now, and I'm not crazy. Yes, fastball spin was down today. Everything else was up. So it was just a matter of location. Dominic Leone wasn't awful in an inning, a third of work. He ended up allowing a hit and a walk, but he picked up 3 strikeouts. Not awful considering what we expect from him. Steven Nagosic, this guy, he's such a clown. Like, I'm sorry. I can't stand watching him trot out of the bullpen. At least the stupid mustache is gone, but he allowed a run, allowed a hit, 3 walks, got 4 strikeouts. But just again, it's just like, why are we throwing this guy out there? I understand that you throw him out there and blow out games if you're going to, but it's just like, he shouldn't be in an MLB bullpen. He just shouldn't be. And I'm sorry that I'm ripping on the guy. I'm sure he's a great guy, but my God, I can't stand watching him when he comes into baseball games. I just simply can't. And he's another one where it just, the stuff was horrendous today. Just was. And then Jeff Brigham in it, he just faced one batter, so not much to say there. He was all right. Not much else really to say there. But in total, the Mets had 6 hits. They had 2 errors, 2 runs, of course. The Cubs with 7 runs and 8 hits. And they had no errors throughout the game. Yeah, defense was definitely a difference. Definitely was difference. Jeff Brigham only threw a sweeper today, which is super interesting. But yeah, holy crap! I just saw the Blue Jays won 20-1. Completely off the subject there, I know, but just interesting. But yeah, tomorrow you got Kodai Senga on the bump versus Stroman, I believe. So should be interesting. Gotta bounce back. Gotta bounce back and be better. Have to be better, especially against a Chicago Cubs team. You just have to be better. And I'm pretty sure they said on the broadcast it's going to be a cold day there in Chicago, but I don't want any excuses. Go out there and win a game. That's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially your Met fans. Turn on your notifications so you know when we upload or go live next on Met Central. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go, Mets.